Now, at the outset, please allow me to apologize for the fact that I feel very guilty sitting up here and watching you stand out there. We should all be standing together. But anyway, to the principal of the Pacific Theological College, the good professor, the director of the Pacific Theological College, Ms. Aisaki Casimira, the Reweaving Ecological Mat coordinator, Ms. Daphne Kiki, ma'am, members of the staff, students, family members, and friends of the Pacific Theological College, the Pacific Conference of Churches and Oceania Center for Arts, Culture, and Pacific Studies of the University of the South Pacific, artists and contributors to the Voices in the Deep exhibition, the Good Reverend Raki Tingarea, thank you for the prayer. He's disappeared. Now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Samulunaka Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Ni hao, Noi Maureen. A very good afternoon to you all, sunny afternoon. Thank the Lord for the good weather. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, please allow me to acknowledge and commend the Good Reverend Raki Ray, as I mentioned, for a short prayer, the divine way in which we have started off this function this afternoon. And as your President and Head of State, I'm extremely pleased and honored and very thankful indeed to be invited and to officiate as your chief guest to view and witness the Voices in the Deep Void exhibition and presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, it would be remiss of me if I do not at the outset acknowledge and thank our forefathers, particularly our church leaders and elders, for their wisdom and foresight, for establishing the Reweaving Ecological Mat, or REM program in 1999. It's going back a few years, to preserve our traditional way of life, our cultures and traditions, our pristine and tranquil environment, the biodiversity, the equally important, last but not least, to reconnect us back with nature. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the issues of the debilitating state of the health and well-being of our people in the islands, the deepening depletion of our national and regional limited resources, biodiversity, the deterioration of regional and international bilateral relations due to a loss of multilateralism, and the ever-increasing social ills, disconnect, and the loss of basic values and principles, resulting in increased domestic violence against women, children, loneliness, suicides, etc., to name a few, and the deterioration to the state of mental and physical health of our people are very real and serious issues that threaten social cohesion, peace, and security today. Now, these global challenges require global solution, and the REM program is a commendable manner in which, and platform in which we as a Pacific family of nations and peoples can contribute in our modest, noble, and unique way to solving these problems. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last weekend, I was invited and officiated at the commemoration of the United Nations 75th anniversary. Now, the forum was established, as you know, after World War II in 1945, and charged with the primary responsibility of maintaining and preserving global peace and security. Now, national security encompasses social security, food security, and the security of our vast natural resources as well, and the way we live our lives. And at this juncture, I wish to draw your attention to the reality that the issues of depleting resources and biodiversity and the deteriorating international bilateral relations, the societal challenges that we are facing today are tangible, present, and very real threats to humanity's survival as a global community. Now that has necessitated the urgent requirement of the UN to formulate the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, which initiated the beginning of a global effort in 2000 to tackle the dignity of poverty, which compelled in 2010 the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to refer to its lack of progress as, and I quote, unmet commitments, inadequate resources, lack of focus and accountability, and insufficient interest in sustainable development. Therefore, in 2012, the MDGs were replaced by a new set of outcomes known as the Sustainable Development Goals, as you all know, which was launched at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro. Now, SDGs reflect continuity and consolidation of MDGs, making them more sustainable by strengthening environmental goals. Now, the SDGs at a global level obligates us at local, regional levels to address and contextualize our responses to our current challenges the Pacific way. As Pacific peoples with our diverse cultures and traditions, we are also blessed with rich and resourceful cultures, traditions, and practices that our forefathers observed and preserved. They were one with nature and their surroundings. Every aspect of nature and their lives had a spiritual element to it too, as you've heard. Now, this very spiritual element has over the years been left dormant or misused, sadly. And as I alluded to earlier, I applaud the wisdom and the foresight of our Pacific Church leaders, who in 1999 set up the Reweaving the Ecological Met, REM, that was later merged with the research program of the Pacific Theological College way back in 2017. I'm also reliably informed that the RAM initiative is an attempt to weave a national and Pacific story of resilience, self-determination, and hope for the well-being and sustainable development of the region, and our voices and our peoples should be heard. It was designed to facilitate regional and national dialogue with governments, churches, civil society organizations, indigenous communities, and higher learning institutions to discuss development challenges and to reweave new approaches to holistic national and regional development. Now, based on and drawing from indigenous and local knowledge and on religious values and spirituality, it promotes three strategic approaches, which you heard from the director. And allow me to remind us again. The use of ecological indicators as measures of community, national, and regional well-being, ecological integration of national accounts as complementary to the gross national product, and the research and education of community, national, and regional levels. Now, in addition, centering the value of social capital as the strength of the Pacific Island countries initiative and the basis of life, livelihoods, and development in the Pacific, it reframes the story of dependency and vulnerability of the Pacific region and its people to one that is self-determining, resilient, and truly sustainable. Now, 3 publications were produced as a direct outcome of the RAM initiative, and I think I can see them out here. I look forward to getting my copies. I want to read them. Now, this publication was initially intended to assist with the country's processes and articulation of their own contextual approaches to a national ecological framework for development. Now, 2 of the publications, I believe, offer practical examples as to how we might begin to change the development story. Interesting. Now, the 3rd presents a collective re-imaging of the vibrant, thriving Pacific future we all want to see. I hope I leave that long. It represents the process of revisioning of a post-COVID-19 region by a wide range of peoples from across the Pacific. Now, these publications, I believe, should you wish to expand your knowledge of the ecological challenges we currently face, and its aspects are publication 1, the Reweaving the Ecological Met Framework towards an Ecological Framework for Development, publication 2, the Ecological Economic Account towards Intermediate Values, and publication 3, from the Deep, Pacific of Voices for a New Story. Now, these publications, I believe, offer different solutions to rebuild the Fiji household on the foundations that are somewhat familiar to most of our people, particularly in the light of the new norm, which sadly has been imposed upon humanity by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, these solutions are intertwined with culture and traditions and our indigenous and local philosophies, our spiritualities and religious values, and our own measures of health and well-being. In terms of policy formulation, these publications imply the following serious considerations on the kind of development initiatives that enhances, not diminishes, our people's health and well-being, the wholeness of life of our people. And I speak to you this afternoon also in my capacity as the national champion in the promotion of government's wellness program. As a soldier, I believe in keeping fit and well. More about that later on when I look forward to talking to you individually about the need to keep fit and well. Now, these are, issues raised in this publication. Our environment as part of us, not as commodities. Interesting. Our people as drivers of development, not recipients of others' goodwill. Oh, yeah. We'll have to learn to be self-reliant, obviously, and discard the handout mentality, which had sadly impeded and stifled our progress for too long. The three publications inspired the launch of the Void Art exhibition that we are to witness today, and I look forward to seeing all of them. The art pieces, while diverse in their depictions and representations of Pacific life and expression, illustrate a story of hope. This hope boasts resilient, tenacious, and resourceful Pacific people, enriched with moral fortitude and a fighting spirit. I call it the can-do Fijian spirit. A spirit that drove and guided our ancestors to brave the winds and the tides of the ocean thousands of years ago, to settle on the islands we have been privileged and blessed to inherit and settle today. Let's look after them. It's therefore incumbent upon us to preserve and protect their beauty and integrity for future generations of our people. The Void Art exhibition is more than viewing and bidding for any of these beautifully and artistically painted pieces. It's about our appreciating the resilience, moral fortitude, and tenacious spirit to turn the tide of dependency, of biodiversity loss, of mental illness and NCDs, and to graft a Pacific developmental story that is written by us, the Pacific people, which will guide us even in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. Furthermore, I'm informed that this coming Friday, fundraising dinner and auction will be hosted by the Holiday Inn, and it's for a very special purpose. Let's support that, because it will affect our neighbors and our friends from Samoa, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Niue, Vanuatu, Tonga, Tuvalu, Kiribati, and I believe we should all come forward and support this function. Today's art exhibition is one of these activities, and they have also produced an original song titled The Age. I'd like to hear this Age. I've heard the new Fijian 50th anniversary commemorative song, but I haven't heard The Edge. And continue work with Oceanian Center, ESP, on writing a project to produce simple reading materials and series of artworks, as you've heard. Now, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I personally believe that during this time when we are faced with COVID-19 pandemic, with very traumatic and adverse impacts on humanity, the work of these young people is highly significant and relevant as they draw from their God-given talents and skills which reflect, or which being reflected in their work and appreciation of nature, to replace our fears and uncertainties with hope and faith in ourselves as a people who possess much and have much to offer this world. I wish you well and every success in your endeavors. Nawalevu, Tanyabat, Share, Thank you all and God bless.